Hi everyone, and welcome to what I imagine will be the last of the holiday lockdown videos. And I think I'm ready to go back to school. I don't know about you. It's been fantastic knocking around, planning, and doing all those household tasks that I've been putting off for 100,000 years. But I'm ready to go back to work. I imagine you guys are as well. Well done for surviving lockdown. It has been very, very strange, hasn't it? And we're going to be meeting on Tuesday morning for a big assembly led by the headmaster and myself. But ahead of that, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about subject guidance tutors and what they are and what they are not. And why I'm wearing this particular shirt. So I'm about to go into a presentation. I'm going to break off from that. I have set you a couple of tasks on the VLE. The first was about subject guidance tutors, and I've got about 107 responses on those, and that's great. I suspect things are going to change by the time we come into Tuesday, and perhaps the video will help explain exactly what that means. But the other video, the other task that I set on the VLE was about academic requirements for the summer term. If you think that you're going to need to sit an exam in the autumn, we would really like to know that now. We can't tell you the process by which we came to the grades. That is specifically sub judice. We cannot discuss that with you. We can't discuss the hows and the whys. And so we can't sort of tip you the wink and say, yeah, don't worry about it, or tip you the wink the other way and say, yeah, maybe you want to go and do these exams. We just can't do that. I'm really sorry. I do wish we could. But the government has been extremely clear that both the process by which we come to these grades and the grades themselves are in lockdown, like everything else, until we come out of it. Right, I am going to break now into the presentation, and I'll come back at the end to explain a few things. Great, see you shortly. Hi, so let's talk about subject guidance tutors and specifically what they are and what they are not. Now, let's deal with the big issue, if you like. Why we're doing this. And yeah, okay, there's a contractual reason why we're doing it. It would be silly of me to pretend that that's not the case. But that's not the only reason why we're doing this. We are doing this largely because we want to. You guys have been dealt a spectacularly awful hand. But at the same time, as I've said several times over, we have to look at this as the opportunity that it is. It is an extraordinary opportunity, and it's an opportunity for us to help you as well. We want to do this because we recognize the peculiarity of your position and because we are in a position to help. And because also I think you need this time to be put to constructive use. So we're here to help you on all of those things. But bear in mind that at the same time, we have finite resources, both in terms of time and in expertise. We haven't done this before. And so it is going to be a learning process. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to replicate as far as possible the university experience, which doesn't mean we're all going to the bar and make decisions we'll later regret. More what this is going to be about, this is going to be about you taking the lead. It's going to be about you organizing your own affairs. And the subject guidance tutors are here to assist, not to do. This is all about you guys taking the lead. We're not going to be delivering a huge amount of content. What we're going to try to do is enable you to get into the sorts of habits that you're going to need when you get to university. And so we don't want to waste our time wasting your time. That's just madness. So nobody wants to be doing this. We don't want you to get to the point where you say, well, this is rubbish, just walk away. Let's not let that happen. This has to be a dialogue. It has to be about you going to the subject guidance tutor and saying, well, okay, I need this, 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 and this, and this. So the subject guidance tutor will have a program. They've been working on it over the last week, 2 weeks, but this has to be effective for you. And so this is about you going to the subject guidance tutor and saying, I want to study this, this, and this at university. Help me get ready for that. What do I need to be doing now so that when I get to university, I will hit the ground running and I'll be off in that particular direction. So what do you need to be thinking about? Well, the VLE is a wealth of resources. I'm just going to flick across to it now. Here it is here. The subject page is on the VLE. I will link off to this in the description. Bear in mind that we will change, the location of this will change. It's going to be somewhere much more prominent. But while that happens, I'll link off to it in the description, and you can go and you can look around here and you can see all of these marvelous resources that are already going up there. So I'm just going to flick here on the politics one because I know that it's all lined up in there. And so in the politics, as this clicks through, there's a load of resources in here, including a link to the politics team. So if we click on that, that's going to take us out of here and into teams. These teams haven't been populated yet. We'll be doing that over the next few days. In fact, having said that, I know that there are names in the in the politics team. I've put you all in there already. These are the students who have indicated interest in this particular course. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a minute. This is out there for you already, and you can go and look at the VLE, and you can look at the sort of materials that they've got. You can look at how this is going to work for you. You can start exploring some of these links. If you go back to the politics page here, there's a load of stuff on here, and those of you who've been teaching with me, who've been working with me, will be familiar with a lot of this stuff. But there's some new stuff as well, like resources from universities. We've got some reading lists that have come in from Buckingham and from UEA, I think it was. So that's all there as well. So there's lots of stuff already on the VLE, and this is just really one part of it. If we go into the geography page, where's the geography page? There you go. There's a lot of stuff on the geography page as well, and again there's that Teams link. It's all starting to take shape, and it's all, I think, very, very impressive and very, very exciting. So this is all on the VLE for you already. Again, I will link off to it in the description. So yeah, go and have a kick that one around a bit. Right now, let me say, I've been having some bad IT days recently, and it doesn't look like that's changing. So let's go back to here, I hope. Right, and so we're back in here. So the VLE is this repository of information, and it will take you off to some really, really interesting and perhaps slightly surprising places. And then in addition to that, we're going to have a seminar, and this is going to be a daily thing. Once a day, you will be in contact with your SGT to discuss stuff. And this is not going to be about them just giving you information and giving you tasks to do. It should be a negotiation. It should be a discussion. These are provisionally booked in for 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's after our teaching day is done. So we will be teaching during the rest of the day. You will be off doing other stuff. You'll be doing your exercise. You'll be doing your volunteering. You'll be working on your university preparation. Perhaps you'll be working for the autumnal exam. More of all of that in a minute. But these teams are in place. As I said, they're as yet largely unpopulated, but we'll be running everything through Teams again. So that will be helpful for you. And many of you have already replied to me telling me what subject you want to do. That's great. I got 103 responses, I think. Sorry, 107 responses last time I checked. That's out of 172. So a few responses still to come in there. But we will be fine-tuning this with tutors when we get back on Tuesday. So more of that to follow then. Let's just clear up a few things before we get into that. And again, we'll be talking about this in much more detail on Tuesday. These are preparation for the next stage of your journey. Now, I know that most of you are planning to go to university either this year or next year. There's a few of you who aren't, and we'll deal with you. We'll have lots of stuff for you to get interested in later. But right now, we're looking at those who are looking to go to university, because that's the overwhelming majority, naturally, the course is structured around them. But we haven't forgotten about those who are planning to go into the world of work yet. I can promise you that. But this is preparation for university. This is preparation for higher education. So this is not a casual or a general interest program. And that seems to be coming through in some of the responses that I've been getting through the VLE, and that's understandable. It's understandable that you might have got that got that impression slightly wrong. There will be general interest programs. We'll be doing all of that as well, but this is specifically preparation for the next stage of your academic journey, and so. This is a process, and it has a structure, and we will be writing reports on this. So this is not a general interest, as I said, or a drop-in, drop-out thing. This is a structured program building towards a particular goal, that goal being you hitting the ground running when we get to university. And this is an opportunity for you to get better. It's an opportunity for you to hone your skills. This is not about us just feeding you information. We don't want you tipping your head back like baby birds and us ramming that stuff down your throat. We haven't got the time to do that. You don't want that. So again, we're not going to waste our time wasting your time. We really don't want to be in a position whereby you just go, well, hang on a second, this is a waste of everybody's time. I'm going off to do something else entirely. That would be a shame. And that is categorically what we do not want. A few more things. How long will the seminars be? I said they were a daily thing. They'll be as long as they have to be. And, this will find its level. It will be a give and take between you and the subject guidance tutor because, we haven't done this before. You haven't done this before. We're going to learn by doing. It's an evolutionary, organic process, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff you already know. But this is there for your benefit. And if it's not working for you, then we will adapt it such that it will eventually work for you. Now, if you want to sit the autumnal exams, that's a different thing again, and we will be discussing all of that when we get back in term time. Once again, we are not in a position to discuss either the grades or the mechanism by which we arrived at those grades. We simply have our hands tied by universities then, so we cannot tell you, or we can't give you a big wink and say, right, we really think you might be wanting to have a go at this, or we can't even say, look, we don't have to worry about it too much. I'm really sorry, but that's the situation. That's where we are. If you want to sit the autumnal exams, that's something to discuss again with your tutor once we come back at the start of term proper. How much work is expected of you? Well, we're budgeting about 3 hours a day. You're still in, don't forget, officially you're still at school. And so you should be working. We can't pin you to the desk. We can't tie you to the desk. We're certainly not going to chase you down if you're not doing it, but we rather hope that you would want to do it. And again, if we are not delivering content that's keeping you engaged, that's giving you something to do, well, you have to discuss that with your subject guidance tutor and with the heads of department and with me as required. We want this to be something that you want to do. Again, nobody wants to waste our time wasting your time because, what's the point of that? So how much are we expecting of you? 3 hours a day, you are still officially on our books and you're still officially at school. If you're doing joint honours, well, we need to discuss that with your tutor. We'll work out how best to allocate your time and how best to send you to the right people. I'm sure we'll find a way of making that work. You're bright people. We are, in the main, bright people. So that should be not beyond the wit of man. I'm not going to do that now because there's no point doing it now if I have to do it again on Tuesday or on Wednesday. So we'll just discuss that when the time actually comes. What if you're not engaging? Well, we will contact your house parents and we will contact your tutors. Again, we can't chase you down. I can't pretend that we're going to chase you down. That's just not going to happen. If you've got something else that you urgently have to do, if you have to go to work because maybe your parents have been furloughed and you can go and get a job, or if you're working on a farm and you have to go out and work in the fields, then you're going to go out and do that. What we don't want is you not having something to do. We don't want you spinning like a broken wheel. That would be a tragic waste of everybody's time and resources, and that would be us essentially being negligent. And so we don't really want to be negligent. We want this to be something in which you're engaging. If it's not working for you, don't just walk off. Don't vote with your feet. Speak to the subject guidance tutor, speak to your head of department, speak to your house parents, speak to me, because we just don't want to waste our time wasting your time. Reports, well, yes, you're still on our books, and so we have to report on you. And where we are now, well, who knows when we're going to be going back to school, but we will be looking to report on subject guidance, basically on the Enabling Futures programme, at least at half term. That's the situation as it stands. What happens next, or what happens after that, will happen after that, and then we'll worry about it then. I'm making this up as I go along. Well, kind of, because newsflash, we haven't done this before, and this is a process. It's a process. We are working together. We've been kicking these ideas around for the last couple of weeks, and every time we kick the ideas around, they get a little bit better. Now, Eisenhower said something very interesting about plans. He said plans are useless, but planning is invaluable. Mike Tyson, again, everyone has a plan until you hit him in the face. Well, we have to be responsive, we have to be flexible, but we have to have some sort of idea of where we are going. And I think we're going in the right direction with the Enabling Futures program, with the subject guidance tutors. Now, as soon as we roll it out, things are going to happen. Things are going to change. And the only certainty in this whole position is that change is the new nature of things. This is an organic process. I can't predict exactly how everything's going to work, other than that we will respond to your requests. This is, again, all about you. It's not about us. And if we're delivering a program that doesn't work for you, then that's a dreadful waste of everybody's time. Don't let that happen. Talk to people. Let's have that dialogue. This is about your education. And if you walk away from that, then basically, well, we have a contract. We are delivering what we said we were going to do. We said we were going to look after you, and we are looking after you. If you choose to walk away from that, then there's not a huge amount we can do, but it does suggest that we have failed, and we don't want to be in that position where we haven't given you what you need. We're not just doing this because we're being contractually obliged to do so. We are doing this because we want to do it. And if it's not working for you, then please, please, please tell us. Help us make it better so that you don't want to walk away, so that you do want to go and do this work. You're about to go to university. When you go to university, no one's going to be watching you. No one's going to be chasing you down. No one's going to be looking over your shoulder and saying, well, you should really be doing that work. You have to be in a position whereby you can organize yourself. And that means making sure that you know whether things are working for you and when they are not working for you. And when they're not working for you, then you have to be in a position to do something about it. You have to take the initiative. Nobody else is going to sort this out for you. If there's a problem, do something about it. Don't just walk away. Because if we did that, then everything would be for naught. And again, what we want is we want you to come away from this thinking, yes, I've actually achieved something. I was there, now I'm here. This process has worked for me. But it's only going to work for you if you help us make it work for you. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure we'll talk about this much, much more on Tuesday. And we'll come back in the second half of this presentation and we'll discuss a little bit more at that point. All right, hello again. I hope that made sense, and I hope that cleared up a few things about what subject guidance tutors are and what they are not. The key point that I want to get across now is that these are specific sessions designed to guide you towards an undergraduate course. They're not about general interest. If you want general interest, and I suspect a lot of the people who signed up to do politics and economics, and even in some instances modern foreign language, really what you're looking for there is a general introduction to politics. And we can do all of that, but that's outside the remit of the SCG, because what these should be about, if you're in a politics SGT group, but you're going on to read engineering, then you're missing out on that guidance for engineering, and that really is what this is about. We will run extracurricular stuff on politics or on MFL or whatever it is, if the demand is there. So let's just make sure that when you're booking yourself in for SGT, this is about steering you towards that particular course. And again, things are going to change based upon some of the responses that I had in the original VLE task. But again, plans are useless, but planning is essential. So we will adapt on the fly, because that's kind of where we have to go in this particular circumstance. And that's really about it from me. I've really enjoyed putting these videos together for you. I hope you've enjoyed watching them. I hope they've done something to keep you occupied, entertained, and maybe even a little informed as we go through this very, very strange process. This shirt, I did say I would mention something a little bit about this shirt. This is my favorite shirt for some strange reasons, and that's one of the reasons why I've kept it to last. This shirt is ISKI, that's the International Sport Club of Indonesia. And it matters to me for two reasons. First of all, it's my international shirt. Hooray! Yes, this I did once represent Indonesia in a rugby tournament, largely because the team was picked by my mates. And even then, I think I was a bit of an 11th minute, 89th minute substitution. Anyway, that was the Bali Tens tournament in 1995. And that's the second reason why this shirt matters so much to me. Because a few years later, after that first tournament, you may remember there was a bomb that went off in Bali. What you possibly don't know is that the bomb was timed to coincide with the Bali Tens tournament. And in fact, it went off in one of the rehydration centres that we used to frequent after the tournament. So the Bali bomb was specifically targeted at Westerners and rugby players, basically. So I wasn't in Indonesia at the time, but anyone who had, for any period of any extended period, played rugby in Southeast Asia will have known people who did die in that particular outrage, and so yes, this shirt has two very, very different, very, very conflicting memories associated with it, and not just about being maudlin and thinking about things that have happened, but it demonstrates that no matter how bad things are, they can always get a little bit worse. But more importantly, that after that, you come out on the other side, and you come out on the other side bigger, stronger, and better. ISKI is still going incredibly strong. It has recovered from that. Indonesia has pulled itself back from a critical brink at that point. Bali has rebuilt itself. And so you do recover from these knocks. They come, that's definite. But as ever, this too shall pass, and we come out on the other side, and we dust ourselves down, and we look forward to what's coming next. And we never quite know what that is. And it never ceases to amaze, surprise, and confound and thrill in equal measure. And I'm going to stop at that point. We will be meeting again on Tuesday morning with a big assembly. After that, you will go on and you will discuss with your tutors and finalize how we're going to organize the rest of the term. The first thing we're going to do is just sort out the SGT, sort out those groups, and we will go from there. And that's quite enough from me at this point. It's been a real privilege talking to you over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well done for getting to this point. I'm sure we're all ready for school, and I'll see you then. Floyd out.